Ladies and gentlemen, of all David Bowie's songs, one feels like both a farewell and a revelation. Lazarus. He wrote this song knowing that his time was ending, and yet it became his final act of generosity. In that song, there is no fear, no bitterness, only freedom. The freedom of someone who, standing beyond possession, discovers that everything we keep loses meaning, and that what truly remains is what we give. When I listen to Lazarus, I think of what culture should be. Not a fortress of ego, nor a web of dependence, but a space where we finally learn to let go. A space where the self dissolves into the possibility of a we. Because when culture is alive, it does not divide, it reveals. It doesn't draw borders, it opens gates. It doesn't shout, it listens. It doesn't impose form, it invites transformation. It doesn't seek to dominate place. It becomes presence within it. It doesn't claim truth. It cultivates attention. It doesn't end. It reverberates like a gesture that keeps echoing through those who receive it. And in that listening, it makes us visible to one another. But culture must also remind us of something essential: the present. Those of us who work to bring heritage into dialogue with creation, who live between the past and the future, risk neglecting the now. Sometimes we forget the miracle of what simply is. Culture, at its highest, is not a way to escape time. It is a way to awaken within it. It teaches us to dwell in the eternal present, where memory, imagination, and action finally meet. Across centuries and distances, creation itself reveals the solitude and beauty of the human gesture. The same instinct to create, to connect, to endure. That is universality. The same breath spoken in many languages. The same hand lifted to greet, to protect, to build meaning. Culture teaches us how to remain human. From this dialogue between unity and presence, two roots emerge: culture and education, the twin sources of freedom. And here, in the United States, a nation founded upon the idea of freedom, there is no better place to affirm that culture is freedom. Because culture grants not the liberty of isolation, but the dignity of belonging. Culture is not a privilege. It is the condition of equality. The freedom it grants belongs to all. It is the freedom to understand, to be understood. Those who act in culture must resist the temptation of self-importance. Our task is not to shine, but to illuminate, not to speak louder, but to let others be heard. Because in the end, we all share the same horizon. Meaning is the way we work toward it, the companions we choose, the burdens we carry for one another, the light we pass from hand to hand. Freedom is not an idea, it's a mutual gesture. And if culture can give us ends that are generous, radiant, and transformative, then perhaps our shared destination, however inevitable, will feel less final. And we'll have walked together with kindness. And we must remember this. The cultural world should be the place where kindness reaches its highest form. And yet, too often, it is where ego grows strongest. Let us reclaim culture as a space of care, not competition, of empathy, not vanity. So tonight, as we celebrate culture, let us treat it not as a privilege, but as a pact of responsibility. A reminder that to protect heritage is essential, but to sustain creation is vital. Because the artists of today are the architects of tomorrow's vision. They are the ones who build the bridges between what we were, what we are, and what we may still become. Supporting culture means protecting those who dare to descend into the heart of the human spirit. Artists are not entertainers. They are explorers of our collective interior. They venture into the turbulence of being so that we may recognize ourselves anew. They transform fragility to form, silence to sign, darkness into light. To support them is to share their courage, to believe that creation, like knowledge, requires risk, patience, and depth. It is to affirm that culture is not consumption, but communion, that beauty is not comfort, but transfiguration. Today, when almost everything can be owned, monetized, or consumed, culture remains among the few things that live only when offered. So let us invest not only money, but trust, attention, and love in those who create today. Because they are not only making art, they are imagining us. They are offering us the chance to believe in a future that is more compassionate and more human than the one we now see. If we still have the courage to imagine together, then art will not only survive, it will guide us. And perhaps that more than any monument, more than any legacy, is what will save us. The courage to give until giving itself becomes freedom. Thank you.